Welcome to Conexión Neural, everyone. Today we're diving into that buzzing topic of AI and brain-computer interfaces. Are they reading our minds?
Absolutely, it's fascinating stuff. So how exactly do these interfaces work?
Well, these BCIs are like devices that directly connect our brains to computers, translating neural signals into commands. It's incredible when you think about it, right?
Yeah, it's like sci-fi turned real. But I wonder, how are they being applied, say, medically?
Oh, that's one of the most exciting parts. In medicine, BCIs are already making a big impact, helping patients with paralysis communicate, enabling prosthetic
Right.
control. They really bridge that gap between neural activity and functional output.
So it's like giving a voice to the voiceless in some cases, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. It's like unlocking a new language the brain uses to talk to machines. And with AI's help, these systems can learn to interpret even the faintest signals, which is pretty revolutionary.
That reminds me. How does AI enter the picture here?
AI essentially acts as the interpreter, enhancing the decoding of neural patterns. It refines the raw signals into, useful commands or responses. And these algorithms are getting smarter every day. It's like the AI is teaching itself to read what the brain is saying.
But wait, does that mean our every thought could potentially be recorded? I'm thinking about privacy here.
That's exactly the burning question. While BCIs can translate neural activity, the idea of full mind reading is still in the realm of science
Right.
fiction. Most current technology is designed for simple command translations rather than decoding deep, complex thoughts.
I get that. But it's a slippery slope, isn't it? One could argue that as these technologies evolve, there's an ethical dilemma waiting in the wings.
Absolutely. Ethics are at the core of this
Yeah.
discussion. Imagine the scenario where commercial or even governmental entities try to use BCIs in ways that infringe on personal privacy. It raises serious concerns about consent and the control over our own neural data.
And speaking of consent, some people argue that we might be wired to, unknowingly share more than we intend when using these devices.
That's a valid point. In many clinical settings, patients provide explicit consent and strict protocols are in place. But when these devices become mainstream, it'll be crucial to have rigorous safeguards to ensure no invasive data mining
Yeah,
occurs. It's a matter of trust, really.
right. Trust. And I find it really interesting how the conversation around BCIs isn't just about tech, but about what it means to be human. How do we define our personal boundaries?
You're spot on. It's like the merging of human intuition and digital processing creates new frontiers for our identity, our privacy. And there's also the aspect of accessibility. These interfaces might empower people with disabilities, but they also raise questions about who gets access to the full benefits of such technology.
Exactly. I mean, if only a privileged few benefit, then isn't that a recipe for societal divide?
Yep, which is why ethical frameworks and regulatory standards are so important as these technologies evolve. For instance, researchers are actively debating guidelines to ensure fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Right. Speaking of debates, I've heard critics say that we might be overestimating the capabilities of current BCIs. What do you think about that?
Great question. There's definitely some
Yeah.
hype. The technology is still in relatively nascent stages. Its potential is enormous, but there's a gap between laboratory prototypes and fully functional everyday applications. It's like we've got the blueprint for a futuristic city, but most of the buildings are still under construction.
That analogy really hits home. So, are we setting unrealistic expectations about the immediacy of these technologies?
I think so, to some extent. Sure, the idea of BCIs is tantalizing and there are success stories, but widespread, error free mind reading isn't here yet. Instead, current systems focus on controlled commands, like moving a cursor, operating a prosthetic, or even communicating simple yes or no responses.
I see. And how do the AI components get better over time? Can they, learn to improve their accuracy in decoding these signals?
Absolutely. They rely on machine learning algorithms that learn from large data sets of neural activity. Over time, as they get exposed to more varied patterns, they refine their accuracy. It's like the system gradually tunes itself, similar to a musician learning new chords with every practice session.
Yeah, interesting. But here's my concern. Aren't we, risking a sort of over-reliance on technology that might inadvertently lead us to lose touch with our own natural ways of communicating?
That's a valid critique, and I totally get where you're coming from. Some, like myself, see these interfaces as tools, a means to enhance our abilities, not replace our natural interactions. But there's always a risk, that we might become so dependent on them that the essence of human communication might shift in unforeseen ways.
So, it's a balancing act then, leveraging technology while preserving the core of human experience.
Exactly. And that's why interdisciplinary dialogues, like between engineers and neuroscientists, are so crucial. Combining perspectives ensures that as we innovate, we also protect fundamental human
Right.
values.
It sounds like we're on the brink of something monumental, but with that comes responsibility.
Yes, indeed. The notion that these devices might someday read minds stirs both curiosity and caution. And while the current tech is far from that, the potential trajectory demands that we be careful and deliberate in deploying these advances.
And, given this pace, do you think we're like nearing a point where BCIs become part of mainstream life?
I believe so, albeit gradually. In controlled environments, like medical rehab or specialized applications, they're already making waves. Over time, with improvements in reliability and user friendliness, we might see more general usage. But the regulatory hurdles and ethical debates will likely
Right.
temper this rollout.
It's almost like watching a slow-motion revolution. Progress is inevitable, but the pace is measured.
Yep, exactly. And it's important for all of us involved in these discussions to keep it real, balancing innovation with ethical foresight, ensuring that as we unlock new neural potentials, we don't compromise the integrity of our minds.
This is truly a convergence of our biological essence and the digital frontier. I'm blown away by the possibilities, yet, like you said, we must tread carefully.
Absolutely. The dialogue is ongoing and it's as dynamic as the technology itself. With experts, researchers, and ethicists weighing in, we're shaping a future where, ideally, human creativity and machine precision go hand in hand.
Yeah. Well, this has been an engaging discussion. I feel like I've gained a much clearer, albeit cautious view of where BCIs are headed.
Same here. The intersection of AI and brain computer interfaces is both exhilarating and humbling, reminding us that while our brains are complex, our responsibility to use this knowledge ethically is even more so.
Right. Thanks for this thoughtful exchange. It seems like, we're just beginning to scratch the surface of what our neural futures hold.
Exactly. And I'm looking forward to following how this field evolves, balancing innovation with thoughtful caution. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.